Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for this Q&A for Piece of Cake. I hope everybody has enjoyed the film, and please remember that the film is available for an audience award. So don't forget to rate it as well as all the other films you watch. I want to start off by thanking our major sponsors as well as the film sponsors, Barry Cleveland. We are excited to have co-directors and writers Austin and Meredith Bragg, also known as the Bragg brothers. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
I wanted to know where are you joining us from right now?
We're just outside of Washington, D.C., on the Virginia side. So I'm in Arlington, Meredith is in Alexandria.
Oh, alrighty. Is that where the film is shot?
No, the film was shot
in L.A.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. Well, I thought your film was extremely funny. I like the bits that kind of I've been repeating in my head is the, hey, yo, sprinkle dude. And then also you must have heard, the Martha Stewart uses them and then she went to jail or she went to prison. I thought that was extremely funny. I wanted to know where you got the inspiration for this film. Such a funny film.
Well, this comes up a lot. We actually don't remember where we first read about the interesting situation that California is in when it comes to dragées, those little silver balls that people put on top of cakes and Christmas cookies and things. We have a Google Doc full of just bizarre possible sketch or short film fodder, and this was on there. And when we dove into it, we realized that it was really complicated, as we sort of state. I mean, everything in the film is true. All the facts about the dragées are true. And you can't really wrap a sketch around that because it's just too much to get through. So then it just took us a while to figure out, well, what is the story? I mean, it's a really interesting MacGuffin, but what is the actual story that can drive it? And once we hit on then we started writing it and figuring out how to get it produced.
All right, because I mean, towards the end, I feel like you are definitely in support of victimless crime. That's what it kind of seems like. Yeah,
you nailed us.
Yeah, you guys are avid supporters. No, I guess with that being said, like, you're kind of like pointing fun at the kind of dumb like laws that we might like not consider. I guess, what dumb laws are you kind of against or just don't think that aren't like worthy?
Well, I'm not sure if it would be considered a dumb law to everyone, but I mean, this is a thinly veiled drug war reference, sort of a family-friendly way to sort of talk about what black markets do. And what it makes people go through, and sort of everyone in the film has incentives or reacts to this bizarre situation in ways that you can understand. I mean, of course, the dragées are going to be that expensive because you can't get them, so the price goes up. And so I'm sure there are a litany of dumb laws that we also aren't fond of. There's a great Twitter handle called Crime a Day, which we follow, which we love. Which is exactly what it sounds like, someone who's going through the federal code and pulling out just insanely bizarre real laws and citing them. And it's really fun. And so I'm sure that seeped into the back of our mind as well.
I think one of my favorites is there was a story about a man who found a bird's nest that had fallen onto a roadway. And so he moved it to the shoulder out of harm's way and then was fined for disturbing wildlife, which I think is just fantastic. We actually had a scene earlier in the film that involved a pigeon, but there was a pigeon quarantine in 2019 and we couldn't actually get our pigeon wrangler to transport a pigeon to the set. It was a very bizarre circumstance.
Yeah.
But there's another law that got in the way.
Wait, with that being said, was the film shot during quarantine, like here in the United States?
Oh no, this was just a bird quarantine. This was specifically because of, I believe, a chicken virus?
Chicken virus.
Right. In California at the time.
Okay, well, I'm upset that I didn't get to see more pigeons in the film, but you have to make do.
We all
We were
are.
this close to looking for an animatronic pigeon, but we found a way around
Alrighty. I guess there's also like the kind of theme of breaking a dad promise. I read that both of you have children. What is the most, I guess, craziest dad promise that you've had to keep with your children?
I don't know if I have a specific dad promise, but I know that I have certainly gone to 3 different grocery stores on the same day looking for mac and cheese in the shape of letters and numbers because that was a must have.
Yeah, and I would say my kids have very creative ideas for what they want to be for Halloween or even for their birthday party themes. So I definitely have thrown a Moana Queen Elizabeth birthday party for a 5-year-old. So, it's, you try to do what you can. I don't think either of us are in the same place that our character was in, as far as uh, having a reputation for breaking promises. But every parent wants to keep the promises they can.
And there are
Yeah.
some days when, you need to control something. You need a win, right? And so it becomes this golden fleece that you just have to capture.
Yeah, I love the actor. Oh, I have the actor's name. Oh, actually, could you tell me what his name was? I
The
wrote it
dad?
down some. Yes, the dad,
Sure, Rich
Yeah.
Sommer.
Rich Sommer.
Yeah.
He's appeared on like major TV shows like Mad Men and Glow, and I wanted to know how it was working with him. I mean, he in the show, or in the film, he works really well, and he's extremely funny in it.
Yeah, he was fantastic. We had done our homework. We knew that he's done a lot of comedy before he did Mad Men. He was doing a lot of UCB and improv in New York before getting that gig. And that's sort of the world that we come from. And we actually have some friends in common. We found out after, like literally on set, we had a friend of ours come and be an extra, and they knew each other from those days. Um, he was our first choice, and I'm still shocked that we got him. But he was absolutely great. We needed someone who could understand the humor of the moment, but still like move from playing it straight to the comedy. And it's a fine line. We wanted him to be a good dad, but flawed. He usually plays people that you think are good and then later maybe not so good, or their flaws tilt a little bit more into the evil realm, or at least not as sympathetic, let's say that. So I think that this was a nice change for him. And I mean, he was fantastic, and I'm thrilled we got him.
Yeah, I think that like fine line between serious and kind of stressed out and actually being funny comes out really well in the kind of title shot of your film. I really love the kind of long shot where you're kind of where he's sitting down, or sorry, not sitting down, in the aisle, looking around, searching for this, because we all feel that. We all feel that. I guess, stress to find something, and it's just invisible to our eyes. Um, so how was it shooting in like the grocery stores?
So interestingly, the grocery store was the hardest, one of the hardest shoots. It was, we didn't have a lot of time. It's just very expensive to shoot in a grocery store, but we really wanted a grocery store. We were adamant that it had to look like a grocery store and that we would use our time wisely and it would help set everything up. So we shot all those scenes in a couple hours, I think. It was very, very quick. We had a very light crew. We were running around fast. We knew what we wanted. We had actually driven out there by ourselves the day before to look at possibilities. And so we knew where everything was going to be. It was a very efficient shoot.
Okay. That's good. That's good to know because I mean, I've tried to shoot in a grocery store and they have either kicked me out or told me, nope, not at
Yeah,
all.
it was expensive. I
Yeah,
will
Yeah,
say
exactly.
that particular grocery store, I think, is sort of well known as being used quite often for film and television. And
Yeah.
even, I mean, even this past week, I was watching a film and went, "Oh yeah, that's our grocery store. That's
Hmm.
our aisle. They went down our aisle." Yeah,
Hmm.
that's it's well known in LA.
I also would like to know if that like little down staircase down to the basement is that a famous area as well because that was like perfect for the underground dark market black market situation.
It is not, at least not that I'm aware of. We found, thanks to our cinematographer, we found a fantastic location, which is basically an old warehouse that a group had taken over and sort of split into separate sets. But it was just a very large building full of weirdly shaped empty rooms, and our art department um, just knocked it out of the park. Um, Paris really put something special together, turning
Yeah.
that warehouse and the different rooms there into all sorts of different locations. So we had one day in the grocery store and the house, and then 2 days at that warehouse location for everything else.
Ooh.
I will say the one fun thing about that staircase is that it actually goes from the 4th floor to the 3rd floor. It comes out on a roof, but that staircase was so good, we thought, well, we'll just, movie magic. We'll make it look like he's coming in from the street level and going down. But I even think the den, the cake den, as we call it, is
Mhm.
3rd floor. So yeah, but it was too good and too creepy not to use. So we figured out how to do it.
Another scene is that just makes your like stomach drop is when the police are behind him and he's just trying to shut it and then it just splatters everywhere. How did you was he just still like there slamming it closed until it did splatter everywhere or was there some way that you kind of made sure that you got that shot? Because it really like illustrates what's going on at the
Yeah.
moment.
Austin, you want to take this? I've talked
Well,
enough.
yeah, I mean, this is one of those things that we had to sort of engineer on our own when we were very early in the pre-production process, trying to figure out how to make this work. Um, and I'm glad we did, because it turned out we had very limited time in the car on set that day. But really, it was just experimenting with gaff tape and angles. And, how many times can slam a plastic canister into a glove compartment? Um, and then, we got lucky with some good spills. And after that, it's all in the edit.
I think we also need to give a hat tip to Adam Lee, our DP, who,
Mhm.
when just really good at following things, because we didn't know what was going to happen. We did not know that the canister was going to flip at one point out of the glove compartment, but he followed it. And it does help that it's frenetic and handheld and we can cut all over the place. But yeah, it's just gaff tape and a piece of plastic tube.
Alrighty. Also, is there any projects you're working on right now or that we should be looking out for the Bragg brothers?
Yeah, we are working with the same team that helped us produce A Piece of Cake, and they've hired us to write a feature. So we just finished our second draft and sent it to them, and hopefully we'll be able to go into production on that soon. It is a it's a feature based on a true story about Roger Sharp, who in 1976 proved in front of the New York City Council that pinball was a game of skill and not chance, and therefore the citywide ban on pinball was lifted. It's a very, I know, it's a really strange, fun story, and apparently we're into stories about shiny spheres. We didn't know
Yeah,
this was our thing,
illegal
but
silver balls apparently is that's our lane now.
Yeah, I didn't even focus on that. I just thought, oh, wacky stories, that's what they like. But no, it's silver balls, illegal silver balls. Okay,
yeah,
well, that's good to know.
yeah.
But that's actually all the time we have for this Q&A. So I'd like to thank you both for joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'd also like to thank our major sponsors and the sponsors of Piece of Cake, Barry Cleveland. I hope everybody's enjoying the film festival, and remember to vote for your favorite films since there are audience awards available for these films. Once again, thank you so much for joining us, the Bragg Brothers, and I hope you have a good day.
You too. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
All right.